The only reason I put the next one up there, top 10 social media blogs. Everyone knows this is a Social Media Examiner event. I've been blessed. They have listed me as number 7 in the top 10 social media blogs in the world. Little old me. Now, how do you get that way? Lots of people may have better blogs, but not very many people get more read than mine do. Why? Because I have Twitter. And all of my content goes out through Twitter. It's my number 1 traffic source. And by the way, my website's in the top 7,000 in the world. Twitter beats that for me. So I've taken my little, kind of interest in Twitter and turned it into a business. Next slide. So, but it's not statistics. You go, Kim, that's great. You're hitting us with all these statistics. The next 2 days here, or the past 3 days, whatever, we've heard about people in statistics. Yes, I'm in the Forbes top 50. Yes, I'm one of the top 20 social media power influencers. Yes, I write for the Huffington Post. I have all these top blogs. But let me tell you, next slide, one quick story, how what one tweet turned into. Then you tell them the story about NAPW, right?
Okay.
That's one tweet, and you never know which one tweet is going to put you on a stage speaking between Martha Stewart and Arianna Huffington, sitting next to Star Jones, and some of the most powerful women in business started with one tweet. Conversations with Mari and Jay and Ian and Jeff and Fox News, it all started with one tweet. I'm telling you, this is how powerful Twitter is. Next slide. Okay, so is anybody excited about how you take Twitter from, well, it's kind of cool and clever, but I don't really understand it, to what this can mean for my business? I think that's your intro, Kim.
I think so too, Terry. And you
it's
did such
powerful and
such a great job with it. I was like, I don't know if you
it's
noticed, but
powerful. It's
um,
powerful and it's moving, and you're not even slowing down. You're just revving people up to the starting line.
well, and more importantly, what I really loved is how you tied it all in together. You know, it's not just recounting information, it's how it's
Right.
impacting and how it can make a difference for them too. So you did a brilliant job. And that was exactly what I needed. So if
Okay.
you don't mind, I turned the recording on, so I'm going to record this.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna,
Cool.
I've got to practice this in depth, but it really helps to have you run through it. And then, because you're brilliant, honestly, you're brilliant at tying back in the business piece and getting people's brain processing in that instead of just a flat presentation.
Well, what's happening is you're letting the slides dictate what you
Thank
say
you.
next.
Thank you, which is why Joseph has always said, don't even, you're not good with a presentation. But that's the format that we have to operate in. So I have to figure out, like I say, you are way better at, pulling this in and telling the story based off the slides. So I'm gonna record this.
Okay, okay, let's just go back to number 1. Because Kim, I honestly think, here's what I honestly think. I think if you can get the running start on this, a great presentation has a running start, then it has meat and potatoes, then it has a big finish, right? Running
Right,
start, meat and potatoes, big finish. We already know what your big finish is.
right.
And the meat and potatoes, you will clean house on those. Twitter myths debunked and all that stuff.
Right.
Just roll. Don't even slow down on those. But the big intro is what you need. And don't put any pressure on yourself. Just get up there and tell the story, but tell it fast with impact. That's
Yeah,
all.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay, just try it one time.
Oh boy.
Okay, sit there. Hold on. You ready? Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, hey everybody, you just keep the slides up with what I'm saying, okay?
Okay.
Hey everybody, wow, you know what? It is an awesome honor to be in front of you today. Beautiful location, beautiful crowd, and what I love, everybody wants to, yeah. My whole life I'm running into people who want to talk about everything but social media. This is fantastic, so let's geek out on social media. Next slide. I'm going to tell you some stuff today that you would expect at a presentation like this. I'm going to talk to you about why Twitter is good for your business. I'm going to debunk some Twitter myths, and I'm going to tell you how to build a Twitter strategy and content plan. Great. That's the normal stuff. Very important. But what I'm so excited about being with you here today to talk about is the 4 secrets I use daily on Twitter to grow my community to generate leads and sales. And you say, but Kim, I know you're kind of okay on Twitter, but is it that big a part of your business? Well, it wasn't. Next slide. Well, it wasn't. I just got my 5-year email from Twitter. It says, congratulations, you've been here for 5 years. Well, I've really been here for 4 years. For the first year, I talked about what I got for Christmas. I talked about what I ate for lunch. I made sure everybody liked me. I was being cool and clever and funny, and I built a following of about 2,000 people. And after a year, I'm like, you know what? I think I can do more with this. Next slide. So here's what Twitter does for me right now. I would be dead. I would have no business. I would not be on this stage in front of you today if it were not for Twitter. I have 215,000 followers. That puts me in the top 0.0002%. I'm actually ranked in the top 8,000 of the world based on simply number of followers. Even more importantly, I have a second level reach, which means if somebody takes and retweets my stuff, of 300 million, according to Peak Analytics. That's important. Why? Because people mention or retweet me every 45 seconds. That means I'm reaching not 215,000 people. I'm reaching potentially 300 million people. And I was very careful. Go look at my following. You can go see. It's people who are interested in social media. They're small business owners. They're mompreneurs. These are types of people who want to buy from me, who want to read my blog, who want to interact with me. My clout score, I don't know what it would be without Twitter. I know Twitter is a major driver behind the clout score. All I know is because of Twitter, I'm in the top 0.1% with a clout score of 86. I put the next one up there simply because I wanted to publicly say thanks to Social Media Examiner, who is running this event, for recognizing my blog as one of the top 10 social media blogs in the world. And you know why? Not because there are not, maybe it's a good blog. It's a great blog. I certainly hope you subscribe to it. But because my blog gets read, because tens of thousands of people read my blog all the time. Now, why? Because of Twitter. Twitter's my #1 traffic source. My website ranked top 7,000 on Alexa score in the world. Forget that. That's number 2. Number 1, Twitter drives the traffic that drives my business. Next slide. Okay, but it's not stats. Here's all the things I've done, top 50 Forbes. It sounds like I'm bragging. I'm not. Huffington Post, whatever, okay? Let me tell you a story about a tweet. Next slide. Let me tell you about the tweet that turned into an email, that turned into a lunch date, that turned into me making a appearance and a presentation, speaking between Arianna Huffington and Martha Stewart, sitting on a stage next to Star Jones and 4 of the most powerful women CEOs in America, that started as a tweet by little old me, and about my appearances on Fox News, and my meeting Mari, and my meeting Jay, and my meeting Jeff, and my meeting Ian, and my meeting all these people at the top tiers, all these people that you've been listening to and will listen to the next couple of days. I'm a mompreneur. I'm not a corporate CEO. I'm not a powerhouse like these people, but I'm in the game. I'm talking to them. They know me. We work together because of Twitter. So, is anybody here excited how you can, next slide, how you can take Twitter from what I ate for lunch, hey, hope you're having a great day, to a driver of your business? Let's get started. Boom.
Boom. That is it. I'm going to practice that exact layout because it is perfect.
Okay, cool.
So
let's just roll through the basic stuff from here.
Okay, so that's great. And why I love Twitter and you should too. Oops, hang on. Let me go back. Got happy with the clicker. One reason I love Twitter is because you get to meet people in the ordinary you get to meet people that in the ordinary course of life you would never meet. And you, more importantly, there are people that they're going to impact your business. You connect and you make a conscious effort to connect with the right people on Twitter, people that are interested in you and your business and what you have to sell. Is that a good, or would you do something
Love it.
better?
Yeah, don't second guess yourself. This
Okay.
is meat and potatoes.
Okay.
This is not show and tell. This is just blah blah blah
Right,
blah.
right,
You
right.
don't want to. You actually want to take the dynamism down a notch and just
Gotcha.
meat and potato it.
Okay.
Okay.
And and the other reason that I really love Twitter is because it creates sales. Gary Vee is always saying that Twitter, oh goodness, how am I going to tie that in? Because I wanted to make a funny here. Gary uses, oh crap, I hate when
All you say is,
he
yeah.
sells,
You want to say colorful language.
yeah,
Gary, because only Gary can, it is truly colorful language.
yeah, Gary, as he truly can, in his colorful language, says that Twitter sells stuff or uses another S word. But it does. Twitter is actually a great platform to create sales. Let's talk about a few myths. Tweet and you will be famous. People get on Twitter and they start tweeting. They basically, just like I did, share what they got for Christmas, what they ate for lunch, and they really don't have a strategy or a plan around it. And they think that they're going to create a massive following and be huge on Twitter. The truth really is that exactly this quote, opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Twitter is work. You do have to work it. You do have to talk to people. You do have to engage um, and build relationships on Twitter so that you can create sales. Myth number 2, you can't sell stuff on Twitter. We talked about that earlier. I said you absolutely can sell things on Twitter, but it does have to be a little bit different. Your method of selling things on Twitter has to be value-based. You have to lead with value and create an opportunity to move the sale to a more robust place, like your website or picking up the phone and calling. You can absolutely create sales on Twitter. Terry, I'd like your
Yeah,
take on that one.
yeah. You're here. Here is where you have to mention utility and Jay Bear.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Here's where you have to say, there's the world of social media marketing is entirely different than the way sales and marketing's been done up till this point.
Hmm.
It's past billboards and radio ads and magazines and impressions and pound you, pound you, pound you, pound you. That's push marketing. It's now pull marketing. Now what pull marketing is, value, value, entice, value. It's why Jay Bear wrote Utility, about being useful in social media. That's how you're going to gain customers. It's why Gary wrote jab, 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 right hook. The jab, jab, jab part is value, value, value. The right hook is, now that you know and trust me, I would like you to take a look at this.
Yeah.
That's how marketing is different on social media. And Twitter's an amazing tool because it takes 140 characters to jab.
There
Doesn't
you
take a
go.
whole story. A jab is a short punch. Twitter is a short chunk of words. It's a perfect analogy.
Perfect analogy. I love it. Myth number 3, I don't think Twitter is right for my business. I hear this all the time. I would have to say baloney to that. I absolutely think Twitter is right for every business. We have had a multitude of different types of businesses come to us, and we've been able to create success for each and every one of them. Your take?
Okay, you gotta give them a fact. You
Okay.
gotta say, let me tell you about the types of businesses that Twitter has been right for. Mattress manufacturers, major universities, gold bullion distributors, tech startups, travel agencies. So you go, wow.
Yeah.
How do I know this? Because they've all been our clients and we've all we've used Twitter effectively to sell stuff for each and every one of them.
Okay. Great. Great. I like that. Okay. Myth number 4, you must keep personal separate from business. And so many people get so wrapped up around this. And personally, I think that is absolutely not true. And on social media, the real truth is it all blends together. And people don't want to connect just to a logo anymore. They're wanting to connect to real people behind behind the name of the company. If you're an individual solopreneur or your own brand, it's very easy to blend your personal in. But when you're a brand, a company, a lot of brands are reluctant to step into this and let people see behind the curtain. But I think it's critically important to let people see who your brand is, let them connect with your team, the people that are behind the scenes of your brand. Your take?
I always like to tell a story that
Yep.
illustrates the point.
Yep.
Gary blew his knee out playing basketball a couple days ago.
Okay.
He's got to get surgery. Found that out on Twitter.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what's my point is this is social media marketing. Social involves personal interaction. You can't you can do media marketing. That's been done forever. But to be social, you have to be human. To
Mm.
be human, you have to have human experiences. Those are the things that are so critical. They're the glue that makes the pool marketing work. So if I had to do a formula, I would say value plus interaction, personal relationships equals very strong bond. That's how social media is different. It takes push, and I don't know who you are. I'm just a billboard. I don't give a crap what your life is like. That's the old world. With pull and a personal connection, that's the glue. Those are the two pieces. You can't have one without the other, or you come across as inauthentic. And by the way, I'm writing a book on authenticity. And sure, it takes some practice, and you don't need to talk about your kid has the measles and your husband's leaving you and all these types of things. But just things that make you a human being to people will build that bond.
You are just freaking genius.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you
No,
saying
but the
that. You are
human
too.
piece, tying in that the verbiage human and the social versus the media marketing, yeah. So yeah,
In fact,
beautiful.
I'm writing a book on that, which will be available at the end of May,
Yeah,
on exactly how you do this.
yeah,
How
okay.
you weave authenticity in without ruining, and supporting the message.
Very
Not
good.
replacing the message, supporting the message.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
And the biggie, honestly, guys, is you can't just tweet from the hip. And what I mean by this is you can't just get started on Twitter without a plan, without a goal set. So many people get started on social media and they have no idea what, one, they want from it. And then two, they don't even take the time. They don't take the time to develop a plan to get them the results that they want from Twitter or social media across the board. So on, Terry, hopefully I won't have a coughing spell in the middle of all this.
And so you've got to make sure you have water and
Oh
a
yeah,
cough and a
definitely.
candy. Yeah.
But before we
Okay.
get started on the strategy piece of social or the strategy piece of Twitter, two things I want to really bring to your attention. Instead of doing social, you have to be social. You have to engage with people. You have to be human. You have to realize that there's people on the other side of those computer screens. And you have to be useful. You've heard the saying, be as handy as a pocket on a shirt. That's exactly what you have to be on social media. We talked about the value and Jay's book, Utility, and how you have to be useful to your ideal customer. It's critically important that you lead with both of these things. Be useful and be social, not do social. Both of those things are critical to what we're getting ready to talk about. Twitter strategy and a content plan. You have to decide out the gate, what do you want from Twitter? Is it brand awareness? Is it more leads, more sales? Are you interested in networking? What is it that you
Hey,
want?
Kim,
Yeah,
again, you're just there's no transition.
okay.
Why did we go from the last slide?
Yep, good point,
Go
Terry.
to the last slide.
Okay,
Be useful. Now, why are we now talking about, go to the next slide, this? In other words, you just made a major shift to something completely different, Twitter strategy and content plan.
Gotcha.
So people will be like, well, God, slides in no particular order. There's not a story that ties the two together.
Good point.
So here's what I would do. Go back about 5 slides.
Okay. Oops.
No, right there. Don't tweet from the hip.
Okay.
Next slide. Okay, quick recap. In other words, we have already told them the same points you're getting ready to make in the next couple of slides here.
Okay.
We've already told them that was the myths debunked. We've already said these things. All right, it's quick recap time. Here, if I try to boil this down into just a couple of things, because you come to these presentations and, wow, they said all these amazing things and how they work together and this and that, and it was really great, but now I'm confused. So let's wipe that out. I just want you to remember 2 things. The first thing, be social. Don't do social. Doing social is the logistics of tweeting and Hootsuite and Manage Flitter and all these other things. That's doing social. Be social. Inject yourself as a human being into the equation. Next one. Be useful. Provide value. Again, 2 things. Be a human being and provide value, and people will flock to you. Next slide. So now we need to take you from that person in their living room with a couple thousand followers who's getting annoyed with Twitter because it just seems like this big waste of time, to the person who uses it to drive their business. And what is the way you can do that? What's one concrete thing you can do that will make that transition for you? You can actually develop a Twitter strategy and have that Twitter strategy driven by a content plan. So this is going to be hugely relaxing for you, because it's tough to sit down on Twitter and go, well, what do I talk about today? I don't ever have to think about it because I have a strategy and a content plan. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about that. All right, you with me?
I am loving it.
Okay.
And I'm going to emulate all this too, so keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not only that, it's easier for me to see. I'm just listening to this as if I were in the audience. I'm like, why the heck is she talking about a Twitter strategy and content plan? It makes no sense.
Totally get it. And it's so funny when you can step back from it and not just talk the slides and tell the story that's related to what you're talking about. So you're doing a great job. Thank you for tying this down for me.
No problem. That's what we're doing.
Okay. So do we even talk this slide?
Here's what I do. I'm going to run this, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing about Twitter is you just do it. Again, you're doing Twitter. What do you want to accomplish from Twitter? Most people want brand awareness. Well, yeah, the bigger your company gets, the more you want that. People are like, I don't have time for branding. I just want to sell stuff, and I want to meet people. Good. Let's talk about that. What do you want to sell? What do your leads look like? What kind of funnel are you going to create? And you want to network. Good. With who? Well, I don't know, just important people. You're going to have to find the important people. But I would recommend that you spend some time figuring out who your ideal customer is, because guess what? Twitter has magnificent filters that will allow you to find them. Then the value part, what are you going to do to serve them? You know what you want from them. You want them to join your list. You want them to follow you on Facebook. You want them to hook up on LinkedIn. But you really want them to buy stuff, okay? I could tell you again, get push marketing out of your head. Get value-based personal pull marketing in there, and think about what you can give them that they would appreciate. Okay, what do they care about besides your products or services? For me, my demographic is women, typically, maybe 25 to, 60. A lot of them home-based businesses. A lot of them, need motivation. A lot of them need inspiration. A lot of them need tips. These are things they care about. I try to give them things they want. And remember, people don't search for solutions. They search by their problems. So what problems are you solving for people? Okay, so that's kind of, next slide. So a content plan simply goes and tries to take the answers to the questions on the previous slide and put them into categories. So these are actually, these change all the time for me, but these are the different categories of content that you will find on my Twitter page. So want to have some fun? Go to my Twitter account, pull this up, make a list right now of all these things, and go, oh my goodness, there's a motivational quote. Now she's being funny. Now there's a personal story. Oh, there's some social media tips. Now I'm finding out about the company. Oh, there's their Huffington Post article. Wow, they have a new program. And you'll go, oh my gosh, I thought it was random. This is totally programmed, but it seems completely authentic. And what I do is I give people what they need in a defined, organized manner, and then it's real simple to manage. Okay, the motivational quotes are kind of getting old. We got to get some new ones. Okay, what's funny out there today? Okay, I bet I need to get a Huffington Post piece written because I got to put it out to my fan base. And this actually drives how I prepare and put out all of my content. And get ready to sit up in your seats because I'm going to tell you in just a little bit about how I automate most of this. Anybody excited about that? How I don't, people say, well, you're on Twitter 24 hours a day. No, I'm not, and I'm getting ready to tell you how I do it, okay? Next slide. And that happens right now.
Okay, so let me go back.
So you got it? Yep. So you only have 2 slides is you're trying to get to your content strategy, but you want to make sure they understand why your content strategy is important.
Yes.
Because you did some thinking and working before you just started randomly to build a content strategy. And once you have a content strategy, Twitter's easy.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now we're to the secret sauce.
Oh, let me go back. Okay. Yep.
All right, just let this rip. Don't even think about it. Let it rip.
Okay, so now we're at the secret sauce. The four of my top secrets that I use to dominate Twitter. We talked about influencers and connecting with the right people. If you're networking and you want to connect and reach out to specific types of people within your niche, form relationships, create opportunities for joint ventures, whatever your goal set is for connecting and networking with people on Twitter. You can do that very easily from within Hootsuite. And this is one of my top tricks that I use every day. You can, if you pull up your Hootsuite, if you're using Hootsuite, if you're not, I highly encourage you to download it or grab an account, not download it, grab an account. It's hootsuite.com. And for those of you who are familiar with Hootsuite already, you may not know this particular tip that I'm getting ready to share with you. But if you'll go to your, open up your feeds, you'll see here mine are opened up. And I'm specifically interested in showing you the mentions column. So when you click on mentions, or in your mentions column, up at the top there's a little arrow, and it says you can filter by keyword or clout score. So in this case, we want to talk about clout score. In other words, clout, regardless of how you feel about it, it is a measuring stick for influence, and it is a great way to see how active people are on Twitter, because Twitter is such a huge piece of how clout score is. What's the word?
Hold on. You're down a rat hole.
Yeah, thank you.
You're down a rat hole. Yeah, nobody cares about that. This isn't a presentation on clout score.
Okay. Yeah. So don't even worry about whether don't even worry about that. Okay. So
you have got people so confused that your actual trick is lost.
Okay. Talk me through this, Terry.
Okay, go back. I'm like, what the heck is she talking about?
Okay, thank you. See, right. This is so helpful.
So here is my my intro. Okay, go back to the slide.
Previous. Yep.
Okay, one more slide. Yeah. Okay. Woo. Got the regular stuff out of the way. I'm going to tell you, sit up in your seat, take notes. There's a good chance you haven't heard any of this stuff, even if you've been doing Twitter for years. I'm going to share with you what I think are the 4 things that I've done that have helped me climb to the top of the hill with Twitter. All right. You won't find these in a blog post. You won't find these on my Facebook page. I don't tell you about Twitter. I had to sit down and say, am I ready to share this stuff? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, number one. Anybody here hear of Hootsuite? Okay, next slide. Hootsuite's huge. It's a social media dashboard, and you can pick whichever one you want. I can just tell you that I think it's 5 million people. This is as big and as good as it's get. I've tried them all. I use Hootsuite. They don't pay me a penny to say that. All right, I have 215,000 people who, I think it's actually 218,000 now, people who are trying to connect with me, who are mentioning it, are retweeting me every 45 seconds. I can't possibly keep up with all of them. What I do is I try to go in every day and have conversations with everybody, but from a business standpoint, I want to make sure that the people that I know that are going to help my business the most, I don't miss their stuff. So if Gary Vaynerchuk sends me a tweet, hey Kim, I'm in Orlando, want to get together for lunch and talk about business. I want to make sure that I don't miss that. So guess what? In Hootsuite, next slide, I have the ability to go to my @mentions column, to filter by keyword, which is great sometimes, or to filter by cloud score, and to adjust the slider. As I go further to right, it only gives me the people with the highest cloud score. At about 50 or 60, cloud score of over 60 is like in the top, 2 or 3% of all the cloud. And now in my limited time, I have the ability to connect just with influencers. Now that's great for my numbers. That's great for, my cloud score. It's one of the ways, by the way, I have a cloud score of 86 is because people who are influential are always talking to me, and I'm always talking to them. And when they retweet one of my tweets, it goes out to a massive audience. So you can go to all these groups and all this theoretical discussion about how you get your cloud score. If that even matters to you, what I'm saying is the number one way I do it is I have the important people communicating with me and telling their people all the time. I can spread my message much, much, much faster. And I never miss a tweet from somebody who I really want to connect with. Pretty cool, right? Okay, next one. Next slide. Connect with, there you go.
Okay, this one is,
so that's my pitch on that.
Okay, very good. All right, you might as well just keep going because you're doing.
Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going. The other thing I think, and again, I've seen this work firsthand. Twitter's noisy. There is so much going on here. I just read the Q4 Twitter report, 148 billion tweets in just Q4 alone. Okay, and you say, well, I waste so much time there. What if you could find people on Twitter who were looking for the exact thing you had to offer and were ready to buy at that exact time? Would it be really important to find out who those people are, to go through 148 billion tweets and find the 3 that really were looking for a plumber or a handyman in New York City, and you just happen to be a handyman in New York City and had a hole in your schedule right now? Well, guess what? Advanced search on Twitter can do that for you. So to get there, everybody has it. If you have a Twitter account, you have advanced search. Log into your account. There's a couple different ways to get there. Twitter.com/search-advanced will get you to a screen that looks like this. Next slide. Now you can tell Twitter what you want to search for, the exact phrase, any of these words. You can sort by people's accounts. You can look by places, and you can even get within a driving distance of that place. So let's look for a handyman in people looking for a handyman in New York City. Next slide. Okay, so here's the results from the advanced search. Handyman near New York City within 25 miles. Here we have Reagan is looking for a general purpose handyman to clean out some gutters and rip out away some cupboards. Any recommendations? I got a recommendation. Me. By the way, I'm in New York City. I have a hole in my schedule. What time can I be at your apartment to give you a bid? Does anyone see the power of that? Now, yes, you're going to have to adjust it for your circumstances, but you can find people who want information on social media. If you have a pizza shop in Sheboygan, what's the best pizza in the greater Milwaukee area? Oh, how about mine? Or come on in today. I'd love to meet you. We're running a special for people on Twitter. My point is that you now have the ability to do laser targeting on the world of Twitter and bring you people who have a pain that you have the ability to solve. Now, if you don't see that as being huge, then you really don't get Twitter at all. Okay, next slide. So here we go. Can Twitter be used for business? Yes. So I've pulled up some actual tweets. I've pulled up using this advanced search technique. I've pulled up, these are from some of our client accounts, and you can see that we get very, very detailed information. In fact, sometimes it's a little too detailed. We have phone numbers and email accounts, but what I'm showing you is that how we've used this targeting technique to gain interest in people, to move those to conversations that result in actual activities that result to sales. And these aren't just 3 examples. In fact, on this one account, this big travel company, I had our team put together a list, and they're like, how much do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, send me some over. They sent me 8 pages of stuff that looked like this. So this happens all day, every day. Okay, next slide. The next secret I want to share with you is how I grow my following. And what I can tell you about my following and how I grow is it's targeted. Because remember earlier I talked about that strategy. I know who my ideal client is, and I want them to follow me. So there's lots of tools out there that you can use. I use Managed Flitter. It's trusted by 2,226,500 users. They have a free version. I love their marketing strategy because if you try the free version, you are going to buy the paid version. And the paid version is cheap. I think I pay like $12 a month. All right? So Managed Flitter is my number1 tool for growing my following. Next slide. And what it allows me to do is it takes my 215,000 plus followers and community and allows me to put them in buckets and handle them with increased efficiency. All right? So, for instance, if you don't follow me, then over time, I'm probably not going to follow you. Now, I didn't make these rules up. That's the reciprocity concept behind Twitter. Why? Because if I follow you, I see all of your tweets come through my feed, and I know what's going on with you, but you don't even care to follow me. So at some point, I want to unfollow you. Now, for me, I don't have the issue because I follow 60 or 70,000 less people than follow me. But if you and a lot of you in this room, you've come up against a ceiling, a limit. It's 2,000 to begin with. That's the total number of people you can follow until you have more than that follow you back, and then it's capped at 110%. So what happens is you don't have the space to waste on people who don't want to follow you back. You want to connect with people and want them to connect back. So I can find out who the people who don't follow me are, and I can unfollow them. Next slide. And I can also, the other way, use it to find people who I want to follow who will follow me back. So here's the perfect Twitter follower. Here's somebody I want to bring into my community. Okay. 1, they're in my target demographic. 2, they're interested in what I'm doing. So let's say it's social media. And 3, if I follow them, they're going to follow me back, right? I can't get any better than that. Target demographic, interested in social media. If I follow them, they're going to follow me back, and they're active. In other words, they're on Twitter. If I can get those 4 things, boom, perfect. So in Managed Flitter, they have a power mode that allows me to check some boxes. Go ahead, next slide. And these are exactly the things I told you, and also I hate spammers, so I kick those people out. Boom, there we go. Next slide. And guess what? It found in 8 seconds 42 people that have social media in their bio who are active, who have follower-following ratios of over 1 or more, and less than 1.5. If I follow Sarah Browers, she is going to follow me back, and she has social media in her bio. Now you go, well, that's one. I can sit down and think of 20 or 30 or 40 of these little filter combinations that allow me to not just follow people, but follow people who want to follow me back. Pretty amazing, right? Great way to grow your Twitter following with the right type of people. Next one. Okay, and my final, this is it. This is the big finale. You definitely want to pay attention to this. I'm not tweeting 24 hours a day. I would say, just estimating, 80% of my content goes out automatically. It's prepared well in advance. What I have to do is I have to make sure it's evergreen. I can't say, oh, I'm going to have lunch today at the mall. That's not evergreen. If people see that every day, they'll know that you're in authentic. But my blog posts, anything that's general in nature, my motivational quotes, those types of things, I automate. Now, you can do this in Hootsuite. You can load them in one at a time, right? Or in Social Oomph, next slide, you can load them all in. And you can set up the Social Oomph so they go out with whatever frequency you want, whenever you want them to go out. I can pause, and they're called queues, each of these different categories. So what you're looking at right now is my actual queue reservoir with the different types of content I have. You see tip series, Twitter content, LinkedIn quotes, inspiration. I can turn them on and turn them off. I have 2,000 tweets which go out automatically from Social Oomph at the exact time and order that I want them to go. Next slide. And I have complete control over the when, the where, the how, why, and the how. Next slide. And I can even tell them when they get done with that queue to put it back in. You go, well, won't people see your same stuff over and over and over? My queues have hundreds of tweets in them that I only wrote once. It's a constantly growing. I go in, I clean them up, I make them fresh, but yes, there's a chance that 4 months from now you'll see the same tweet that I put out 4 months ago. But who knows? Nobody cares. Yes, I'm telling you to read my blog, but the blog is still applicable to what you do and important, and you should read it. And if I tell you to read that same blog 4 months later, not a big deal. Next slide. This means your content is always working for you. Okay, so that, before we get to questions, I just want to make sure that you guys all understand this. I do 4 things which drive Twitter. All right, I have my content and strategy plan already set to go. I use tools. I talk to key influencers using Hootsuite. By sorting by cloud. I search for exact problems and provide the solution on the spot. People are amazed when you go, how did you know I had that problem? Because I used advanced search and it told me you had that problem. I manage my community, my followers and my following with a tool with a superb filter on it that allows me to connect with exactly my ideal customer, and I have evergreen content that's always working for me. That's the whole ball of wax. I am highly efficient, I am effective, and I would say without these 4 secrets, I probably wouldn't be on this stage here today either. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Now I have time for a few questions.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna practice the bejeebers out of this.
Well, not only that, you're gonna have to go much faster.
Yes. Well, I just as an aside, from the time I started recording this, 43 minutes.
Okay.
But that was with a lot of interruptions and my my bolo attempts at it.
Okay, no, okay, good. So do you feel like you got something, you have the outline